Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. This today is what I'm calling a slide and lock. I saw the technique on Lisa Curcio's YouTube channel. She did a video on it, and it's an easy but a fun thing to do. It is a gatefold card, and sometimes we put a belly band around the gatefold to hold it shut. But this one has this little locking mechanism, and you can just slide it like that to open up the card. This particular card I'm going to leave blank so that I can write a message in there. At any rate, this is a real cute little mechanism on the back to make that. So this was one that I made with You're So Peachy, or You're a Peach Designer Series paper and the corresponding stamp set. But today I'm going to make a holiday one for Halloween, like this. Hey Crazy Cat. I just love this stamp set. I'm not into Halloween too much, but this particular one, what really caught me was this greeting. Really, I've been this cute all 9 lives. And I can see that on a scrapbook page with a kitty cat on it. I could even see that with a picture, a scrapbook page having a small child who's getting into everything all the time, who needs 9 lives. So anyway, I thought it was a darling one. The cat, I'm not a cat person particularly, but this cat particularly sneaky like that with his fur every which way. And I love this little, just peeking above the edge of something with just his eyes showing up. So this is the stamp set we're using. And there are no dies for it, so I had fussy cut this cat. So the cat was fussy cut. A little bit of cutting, a little bit of fussy for sure, but it's well worth it. And this space behind it is from a retired, I think it's called Fright Night, Halloween Magic dies. And these are retired. These were, I think, were last year. And I used this shape here to cut it out. The Designer Series paper is from this year's pack of cute Halloween 6x6 Designer Series papers. There's this pattern, and then there's this one with stripes on one side and squigglies, black and white squigglies on one side. Are adorable ghosts and purple. The colors are pumpkin pie, I believe. One of the light, Highland Heather and black and basic white. Back side of that is Boo. And then there's this design with the houses, the town, or there's of buildings with steeples and stuff like that. And backside are ghosts, bats, and skulls. Then there's this one that have bats and Dracula, maybe? No, they're bats. Bats dressed up like Dracula. And then there's this one with the dots, and the back side are candies in black and white. And then there's this set with the pumpkins and the cats. The cats are so smug. And back side's black stripes. So that's the Designer Series paper that I'm using. The card base is smoky slate, and it's 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to score it on each end at 2 3/4. By the way, you notice this dirt? Oh, let me get it up so you can see it. See this kind of dirty spot? That is a little bit of Stampin' Seal that I put there, because when you're cutting a narrow strip, if you put it down like this, if you were to put it down and then get ready to, there's no way to hold it down with your finger until you can get the gate thing down. So I put it in there, and that holds the paper in place until you're ready to, until you get this thing down. Okay, so 2 3/4 on each end. And then I have some squares that are 1.5 inch square. And I've got 2 of them out of Designer Series paper. When I made my sample, I just used cardstock for it. But it ends up, if you can see in there, it ends up being fairly wide. So I had to trim down so that there's a fairly good sized gap between the two. And I got to thinking about it and thought, well, if I used Designer Series paper, it would make it much, not quite such a big gap in between. So that's what I did for this one. See, I've got Designer Series paper in there, and it makes a much smaller distance between the two sides. And these are scored in half. These are 1.5 inch, and I'm going to score them at 3/4 of an inch. And this is a case where that sticky stuff helps, because when I put that down, I can't put the thing down and hold my finger in place. So that is all the scoring we need to do. Fold these in half and make them good and sharp a fold. With the Designer Series paper, it's easier to fold it. And then we only need 2 of these 1.5 inch squares. And this is a moving mechanism. So want to use sticky tape so that they don't come apart. I'm sorry, tear-in tape, not sticky tape. I get my names mixed up sometimes. So I'm going to put tear-in tape on both sides of this. Of both pieces. You could make these squares any size you want that would fit and not show under your slide. And you could use a circle for the slide. On this card, on the first sample I showed you, I used the one next to the smallest of the Shapes and Contours die. And be sure it's burnished well. so that when you take up your paper backing, you don't take up the adhesive as well. Now I've got a little bit that's hanging over, so all I do is just tuck it back up and get it out of the way. Okay, then I put it along the edge of one of these, like so. Take this, do the same thing on this side with the other half, or the other square that I've folded in half. Come on. There we go. And I put the fold right up against the fold of the other one, like that. Okay, so then I take the tape off the top part, oop. Adhesive is sticking better to my fingers than to the paper. Guess I did not burnish it well enough. And then we take the second square of cardstock. Oh, I better get the flaps back up. I don't want these to go underneath and stick. And line up the other one like that. So now you have a mechanism that looks like this. See? And there's a fold in there from the Designer Series paper, and on the other side there's also a fold. Now, I didn't get them lined up too well, it looks like, so I think I'm going to take my scissors, my paper snips, and I'm going to trim that a bit. Nobody's going to really see it, but I know it's there. And it'll bug me. It will bug me. So that fits onto your card opening. If you are not shaky like I am, it goes on better. Slide it in there, and slide in the other side. Like that. And it will slide back and forth like this. However, it's not laying flat because those are kind of overlapping. So I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to trim slightly, a slight amount off the edge. I'm going to line it up just about to this, where the white part goes. I like the trimmer because the Stampin' trimmer, because it makes really nice cuts. It's easy to see it. Now there is a little bit of a ridge here because my blade is a little bit dull, and one thing that Lisa on her video showed was if you take your boom folder and rub it along there, you can flatten that down again. Okay, now let's see if that was enough. this should slide back and forth easily. Come on, slide. It really should. Might have to trim just a little bit more off. I'm going to take a little bit off the other side as well. Because you don't want to have your recipient having to struggle to open the card. There we go. Now it slides well. Okay, now to adorn this, I cut a piece with that die of orange glimmer paper. And you go, glimmer paper? Where did you get orange glimmer paper? Well, I'll show you. The glimmer paper works well to color it. All you need is some alcohol in a little spray bottle. Recommend our little spritzers. Works really nicely. Gotta make sure you don't have anything in the way that will catch the spray. And then you just spritz like that. And it will dry. You can put it as thick as you want or as light as you want. And then if the edges get rather or too wet, you can take a paper towel and gently dab so that it so you can choose any color you want just using a re-inker and alcohol. And I filled my spritzer up originally about half full and then put about 3 or 4 drops in it, however much looks good to you. So that's what I did. Now I had that piece out here. So where did it go? Of course, it's pre-cut. Had it ready. Aha. This is not the one I had, but it'll work. This one has a little bit of gray behind it too, cardstock. And I didn't think it was necessary to have that cardstock there, but I will go with it anyway. So I took that and my fat cat, and I discovered that it's hard to get this stuff to stick to the glimmer paper. So it is better. The Stampin' Dimensionals seemed to hold better than snail or Stampin' Seal. And I need one of the mini dimensionals. Where are you? There you are. For his tail. I'm going to trim this gray just a little bit. So it doesn't show. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to put him up here near the top. He's lurking. I need to move him down slightly because I want his tail to be sure to be on the slider. Like that. And then the stamp set has the saying, "Hey, crazy cat." And I'm just going to hand cut this out. Because I want it to be pretty small so that it fits on my slider. Like that they came up with these mini Stampin' Dimensionals. They also have, we also sell black Stampin' Dimensionals, which would be cool, good for the, like the cat tail, because you can see there's just a little bit of that foam showing. If I was really compulsive, I would get the black Stampin' Blend and color it in. But I'm not going to worry about that. Come on. I'm going to put that right down there below there. So there's our slide. It's ready to go. No, it's not. I have to put the mechanism on the back. Oh, I know. I was going to do that. And I'm going to make sure that it stays well. So I'm going to use some more of the tear and tape. There it is. It amazes me how quickly things get misplaced on my stamping table. But if you saw the rest of it, you would understand. They say that creative minds are rarely tidy, and I definitely fall into that category. Now, I got to make sure that the flaps, the fold is going the same direction as the So now you'll see how it goes. Put that side in, and this side in. And there you slide it up, and that closes it shut. And you can slide it up and down to open up the card and see what's inside. So this is a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch designer series paper that I'm going to put on the inside. And I have 2 greetings that I have stamped and cut out using the smallest of the contours, scalloped contours dies. And I'm going to put those on. I'm not going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on these because I want the card to lay pretty flat. There's enough dimension as it is. Yep, you're right. I just turned it over because I didn't like the stamping on that one. Whoop. Almost put the wrong side up. Okay, so it says, my tail says it's the twitching hour. Have a perfect Halloween. And you can write your greeting over here on these sides to personalize it. On the front, I have 2.5 by 4-inch pieces of Designer Series paper to go on the sides of the gatefold. So one goes over here. And the other one goes over here on the other side. Oop, almost put it on the wrong side. You can, if you're careful enough, you can peel it up until you've really pressed it down hard. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of glitz, so beyond the label. So this is black glitter ribbon that's in the annual catalog, glittered organdy ribbon. And I'm going to tie it around this side. And I have a problem all the time when I get ready to tie around something, holding it down and then tying a bow without it coming loose. So I have a trick that I use. Saves a lot of frustration. Take a glue dot. And put it down where you want your bow. Then you make the first knot. I might get over there. Make your first knot and push it down into the glue dot, and it will stay. In place. Then you have both hands free to tie your bow. Get the right side up. The glitter's on one side of the ribbon, so it's kind of important to get the glittery side up when you're going across your bow. See, one side is, so one side of the loops makes it tight, and the other side pulls the tails. There. Trim off the ends. And then you slide your closure on. There is your completed card, your slide and lock. It locks it shut. I hope you have enjoyed this. Like I say, you can make a variety of different things. You can make a circle here. You can make it bigger. You can make it as big as that if you wanted to. Or you can make a square. You could even cut out a shape probably, as long as it's a big enough shape to use for your slide mechanism. The back of it is going to be determined, how big it is determined by how big, how wide your top part, the decoration of it is. So I thank you for watching. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper, and I will have the directions for this card on my blog tonight. And if you need any of the products I have used, you can contact me. You can order from my online store, creationsbysue.stampinup.net. Any questions you have, email me at sue@soggystamper.com. My blog is www.soggystamper.com. And my this video will be up on YouTube probably tomorrow. And my YouTube channel is The Soggy Stamper. I also have started doing TikToks, and that would be at Soggy Stamper. So check out my other things that I have been doing. I thank you for watching, and leave a comment, and I'll be sure to respond back to it. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Friday at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.